Hi, everybody. Tonight is the evening of February 16th, 2026, and this is our lecture for Prof 4500 risk analysis. So tonight, first of all, I wanted to let you know everybody has done a super job of getting their topic sentence for their paper nailed down. Everything looks really good, and I have uh, really good feelings about the papers that you guys are going to be able to write. So that's a good thing. Most of you have finished your annotated bibliographies, uh, but there's some changes that I had suggested being made, and I hope that those of you that got suggestions will make those changes because there's some important things that will help you in the long run. So tonight, now that you have done your annotated bibliography and you have made a great topic sentence, we're moving on to the next section, which is methods. The methods section of your paper is a way of presenting how you are going to view and study your material. So in our class, there are two different types of risk analysis. There's a quantitative risk analysis method, and then there are many methods for doing qualitative risk analysis. So I have provided you with some examples, and it turns out that everyone in this class has chosen a qualitative uh, topic. So I've presented to you as an example a a research paper, the methods section of a research paper that I worked with several years ago. And the nature of this is just to describe, this was a social media site called KidBlog that a teacher was examining for use in her middle school classroom. So anyway, what I want you to see with the method section is, and this will be similar to yours, is that the biggest thing and the hardest thing to think about is in the method section, you don't talk about anything that you are specifically going to write about in your paper. You talk about how you are going to view the material that you write about in your paper. So in other words, you wouldn't say, then I looked at 5 different sources and I did this. You would say, I'm going to use discourse analysis as a research method or something along those lines. And so there are several different things that are on our website, on our Moodle page that will help you do that. But so you want to look at how you're going to analyze your material, not the actual analysis. So this page for you, the method section, is really just going to be 1 or maybe 2 pages long, but it really requires some study of your material and deciding how you are going to frame that material. So going back to our Moodle page, let's take a look here. And you'll see that there are several things. What you really need to do to get ready to write your method section is to take a look at all of the stuff here in the week of February 16th. Some of it has been recorded in prior years. Some of it is stuff that I've written before. Some of it is written by other people. But if you look at all of these lectures and all of these documents that I've provided, and the Diaxis tool is a specific method that you may use. You don't have to use it, but it's an example of something that you may use. And when you get ready to do that, you'll be able to get ready to write your paper. Now, this section, this paper here, the comparative literature section, is a really interesting method. Okay. And I kind of have a feeling, I'm not going to say this for sure, but I kind of have a feeling that the comparative literature method or the comparative method and the study of literature, the comparative method is probably going to be what many of you will use. Maybe all of you will use. But if you look at this paper it'll describe the comparative literature, the comparative method, and the study of literature. And you may find that there's something here that you want to use, or it may be everything that you want to use. But I would definitely tell you that reading this paper is absolutely critical to getting ready to write a successful paper. Now, if you talk about different methods that you can use when we are talking about doing a qualitative method, this is really one place where quantitative papers, which I have some examples up there, like the analysis of petroleum reserves, quantitative is way easier because there's only one way, one method for examining quantitative data or to study something in a quantitative way. But with qualitative, there are several methods. So take a look at all of these different sources, all of these different lectures, and all these different papers, and you'll see some stuff that will be very helpful to you. And by the end, you'll be ready to write your methods paper. Now, like I said, that methods paper, which will be due next Sunday, February 26th or 22nd, excuse me, is only going to be about 1 or 2 pages long. You may draw heavily from the comparative literature resource, or you may draw heavily from the qualitative methods example that I give here, or you may revert to something like the Diaxis tool, which I describe here. Okay. It's also, even though you're writing a qualitative paper, if you take a look at this quantitative paper, you may get some really interesting ideas because quantitative papers tend to be very structured in the way that they present data. Okay. And so if you take a look at the stuff that is that's on the website for quantitative, not that you're going to do a fully quantitative paper, but you will see some ways of looking at your information that may be interesting and may inform your decision on how you write this. Okay, so in conclusion, the way that you look at the methods section of your research paper is how you're going to view your data and how you're going to write your paper. But you don't have anything specific about your paper that you're going to write. It's just an overview of how you're going to do things. And sometimes I think when you're writing this and you get very involved in it, you kind of feel like you're repeating yourself because you sort of say how you're going to do something and then you do it and you talk about doing it. So it's not really like they're two buckets and that they're completely separate. But the overarching view is methods, nothing specific about your data or your paper, but rather how you're going to approach the paper. Then keep it short, 1.5 pages, 2 pages long, and look at the different ways of the different methods that are outlined here. Choose one, or you can look at some other methods. There are other methods of research that you can find documents for on the internet, or there are books written about quantitative and qualitative research methods, which I would be happy to share with you if that was helpful as well. So if you find something and you sort of see how you're going to go through this section sometime this week, that's great. If you want my help, please get a hold of me. We can do a Zoom meeting, or we can talk face to face, or we can visit by phone or email. So just let me know. I'm here to help. So in the meantime, you got a lot of stuff to look at and a lot of stuff to think about how you're going to address these issues. And let me know what I can do to assist you in your process. Happy research methods writing. We'll talk to you next week or sooner if I can help.